Hey, what's going on? Zach D Productions here, and I'm here for a movie review for you guys. So for this review, I'll be reviewing Ant-Man and the Wasp: QUANTUMANIA. This is the third Ant-Man film and also the newest Marvel film. This came out last month in February, but I didn't get to see it until March 1st. So I'm not too late to the game, of course. So I know that this movie has been kind of receiving mixed reviews. I've even seen some review sites score it a low score similar to the Eternals. And I mean, come on, this movie blows Eternals out of the water, in my opinion. I don't think this movie is anywhere near as bad as Eternals. Now, is Ant-Man and the Wasp: QUANTUMANIA one of the best Marvel films of all time? No, absolutely not. It doesn't come anywhere near one of the best. But with saying all that, I do think it's a pretty good film. Now, do I have my critiques about it like everyone else? Yes. But I think for what the film was, it's pretty solid. You know, I really do dig a lot of the quantum realm scenes, like the scenes where they're actually in the quantum realm. Just visually, it's very fascinating to look at, which is basically most of the movie. And I think it's a unique concept that they did an entire Ant-Man movie based around the concept of the quantum realm. Now, would I have liked more Earth scenes, you know, scenes that are not in the quantum realm? Yeah, probably, but it's not a big deal. You know, I still think the movie is pretty solid for what it's worth. You got a pretty good cast here as well. Of course, you have Paul Rudd back as Ant-Man, aka Scott Lang. You have Michael Douglas back as Hank, and also Michelle Pfeiffer, which I never knew this before. I never knew it was her in these movies, but she actually plays the mom in the Ant-Man films, which is very cool. If you didn't know, she was Catwoman in Batman Returns, so it's cool that she kind of made her way into Marvel, the cinematic universe. So yeah, you of course have other people in this movie as well, a lot of others involved, and yeah, so pretty good cast, I'd say. And the story itself, not too bad. Now, I do think Ant-Man's daughter is kind of a throwaway character. I mean, I know that she kind of serves her purpose. I know that other people have had their critiques about her. I know that a lot of people can't stand her, actually. This is stuff that I hear, and I mean, I can kind of see why. I mean, it's kind of weird how she knows how to work one of the suits in this movie. Like, when in the MCU did she learn how to use a suit? You know, when was she basically like a carbon copy of her dad? And it really does show in the film, you know, when at the beginning when she gets out of prison, and, you know, because obviously Scott Lang in the previous films, he was a criminal, so they basically made it so that his daughter basically was the same way, you know, kind of followed his footsteps, you could say. Kind of took after her dad, you could say. So I understand what they're doing there, but yeah, her character, not real crazy about her character. If she doesn't ever appear again in the MCU, I could honestly care less. But the story itself is pretty fascinating. Basically what happens, speaking of Ant-Man's daughter, she basically brings this thing that sends in a signal into the quantum realm. Things get messed up, they go into the quantum realm, and they find out that during the time that the mother of the Wasp, I believe her name is Hope, her time in the quantum realm, she met someone there, and she basically found out that he was up to no good, and he wanted to conquer worlds. Of course, we're talking about Kang here. And she knew about this. She kept the secrets from her family, and there they are, stuck in the quantum realm, and then they find all this out. And, of course, they just do what they can to stop Kang. And, you know, Kang, definitely a very compelling villain, and I think he really stole the show in this movie. I think he's one of the best things about this movie, to be quite honest. Yeah, so Kang, I really enjoyed him as a character. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more of him in the MCU for sure. You know, the final fight scene with him and Ant-Man I thought was really epic. So, yeah, solid movie. Very solid. I mean, I wouldn't go as far to say that it's amazing or anything, but I thought it was pretty good for what it is. Now, I do want to talk about a few things as well. Surprisingly, given that it's a Marvel film, I'm really surprised that this movie is not woke. Whoops, did I say the W word? Because I know that the last time I said that on Facebook, someone got triggered and unfriended me over that, believe it or not. I mean, how pathetic is that? But anyhow, yeah, it's not as woke, you know, it's not really full of that much propaganda. I mean, you can tell that they've sprinkled some stuff in there, you know, like when the daughter is getting out of prison, you know, apparently she mentions something about officers throwing tear gas at a peaceful protest. Yeah, sure, it was peaceful. But anyhow, I noticed that and I'm like, yeah, that's an eye roller right there. I was just like, ugh, yeah, we know what they're signaling there. So, I mean, it's whatever, you know, it doesn't really do much, you know. It's not really that bad. So yeah, no stupid political messages besides that little thing there that I just mentioned. So, and that's been kind of my main issue with Marvel nowadays is, you know, their silly little political messages that they sprinkle in there without trying to be too obvious or whatever. And in some instances, I think it is obvious, but I can kind of let that slide, but oh well. And I'm sure other people have noticed that as well, but hey, it is what it is. And at the same time, I know that other people have had their complaints. I know that this movie will probably be forgotten within the next 5 years. I mean, obviously, in the next 5 years, no one's going to remember this movie. I mean, can we be real about it? No one's going to remember this movie. Now, again, I think it's solid. I think it's pretty good for what it is, but can we be real for a moment? In the next 5 years, no one's going to remember this movie. And it also does seem like the only thing that this movie has served as far as its purpose is concerned is just introducing Kang. Because obviously Kang is going to be basically the next Thanos in the MCU. So this movie is kind of just, I feel like it's just going to go down in history as that. Just the movie where they introduced Kang. But, again, with saying all that, I think the movie is pretty solid. Do I have my gripes with it? Yes. As well as the other MCU movies. You know, just because I have gripes about a movie does not mean that I dislike it or anything. You know, I have my gripes about the latest Doctor Strange movie and the Multiverse of Madness. Do I think it's a solid film? Yes. But I do have my complaints with it. Kind of the same thing with this movie. I like it, but at the same time, I do have my complaints with it. And again, the scenes where they're in the quantum realm, visually, I mean, the editors, everyone did a fantastic job as far as editing goes and the way the visual effects look and everything. Pretty enjoyable, I'd say. So, if you like Marvel, I would definitely say check this one out. I'd say it's pretty good. I mean, don't go into it expecting to be mind-blown or amazing or anything. But this movie does have its enjoyment to it, so I think it's pretty good. So if I were to give this movie a score, I'd probably have to give it either a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10. I think it's pretty solid. Again, not one of the best MCU movies. And out of all the Ant-Man films, where would I say this one ranks as far as the trilogy that we've gotten so far in Ant-Man? That is a very good question. I'm not really sure. I still might like the first two a little bit more. I mean, out of all of them so far, at least as of this moment, this movie is probably my least favorite out of all the Ant-Man films. But with saying that, I do like it, though. And also something that's worth mentioning, something that I didn't notice till like a day or two after I saw the movie. I guess a day, you know, after seeing the movie, is where were Ant-Man's friends in the movie? Like, they were not present in this movie for some reason. I'm not really sure why. Maybe they explained that somewhere and I just missed it. I don't know, but it's just a little something that I noticed. But either way, Ant-Man and the Wasp, QUANTUMANIA, pretty good. I mean, I'd say it's pretty solid, so let me know what you think of this movie if you watched it. So on that note, thanks for watching, and have a good one.